We are live with undefeated prospect welterweight sitting in I guess that's your room in New Jersey, Roseland, right?
Yes, Roseland, New Jersey.
Roseland, New Jersey. Vito Mielnicki Jr. What's happening, my man?
What's up? How you been?
Been okay, been okay. I've been asking a lot of just about everyone who I've been interviewing a lot of the same questions. Probably a little bit different for you. You know, ask people what they're doing during the, I guess the shutdown, we'll call it. But you still got schoolwork going on, don't you?
Yeah, I still have to do my online schooling, but at the same time, I'm still training, trying to get as much workouts as possible. But yeah, I'm doing my schoolwork right now.
Now, how's that? Is that like what we're doing with these Zoom classes and whatnot?
Well, they use either Google Hangouts, sometimes Zoom, or and then all the other assignments are just on Google Classroom.
How? I mean, what are you in like a room with like 25, 30 of your classmates and the teach
At the most 20,
at the
20
most
people,
20?
yeah.
And are you doing like? I'm just going back from when I was in high school, which was about 100 years ago. Are you? I mean, is it like 45-minute periods like you normally have?
55 minute. Well, so the work we could turn in, like they give us the assignments the time where we have our classes, but we could turn the work in at a like later in that day. So as long as we get it in that day, we're good. But the teachers are trying to be pretty lenient with the work. They're not trying to give like a lot of work, especially because I'm a senior. Like all the seniors at this time in the school year, we probably wouldn't even be doing much anyway. So they try not get to give as much.
Now, is it easier or not as easy? I mean, obviously the school part, and I'm going to be just like your mom and dad. The school part is the most important thing that you're going to do during the day. But how is it because of the way you have to do school now? Is it the same time? Does it not let you do what you can do training wise? Less? Do you more time, less time?
Um, I'm gonna be honest. I still get my workouts in like I should be. So, um, I mean, I think it's less work actually, like than actually being in school because when you're in school, you're actually in school for 6.5 hours, like six
Yeah.
7 hours. So, I mean, I'd rather do the online schooling.
So I mean, what's your day like? I mean, take us through your normal day now.
So I'll wake up, do some of my work, look what the teachers assigned, and then I'll go to my strength and conditioning coach at like 10 o'clock.
You're staying 6 feet away, I hope, right?
Yeah, 6 feet away. It's just one on one, so like, and it's in his backyard. So we do that, and then I go to the boxing gym at around like 2:30 alone, and then I come home right now and then do some of my work, do the rest of it.
Oh, so I'm cutting into your study time.
No, I actually finished all my work.
There you
So
go. And you're a senior in high school, and I know one of the great, probably the only accomplishment I had in high school was graduation day and everything.
yeah,
You know that's going to be a little bit different than what you probably imagined a couple months ago.
yeah, it is. I don't think we're gonna even have a graduation. If anything, it's gonna be on a Zoom call like this. I think they're gonna like hand us over our diploma like through the screen. Yeah.
So, talk us about what your training now consists of. I mean, obviously there has to be changes to it. You're not going to a full gym. You said you're just going to a backyard of a and conditioning coach. You're just, what have been the changes?
Yeah, so obviously the sparring, that's like a big change because not everyone really wants to spar and like in this time. Really neither am I. I'm staying alone. I'm just doing what I can like at this time. So I think the sparring is probably like the biggest change, but like even just being in the gym with like a lot of like a good amount of people just like it's more like I don't it's fun when there's a lot of people like just you're in there, you're working hard, but at the same time you have other people working hard next to you. So, also when you're in the gym, you look like competing. You just like competing. Like no one's gonna work harder than you. Like either way. So, yeah, but I'd say the biggest change is sparring.
When's the last time you hit somebody?
Uh, my fight.
So since February 22nd,
Yeah, so February 22nd. Yeah.
you started on a real nice run, 5 wins, 3 knockouts, appearing on several high-profile events. Your pro debut, which you had about 1,000 of your closest friends with you watching the fight. Then the couple Deontay Wilder fights, the Ortiz fight, and then the big fight with Tyson Fury. Obviously, you probably won't fight again. February, maybe July at the earliest. Or if at the earliest, if
August.
if yeah, okay. So what's that like? It's gonna be a pretty long layoff, especially by your standards.
Yeah. I mean, I've been fighting my whole life. Like even in the amateurs, I've taken layoffs, and just when I got back, I was good. I think this was a good time for me to just let my body heal because I was obviously on like a very long run of just straight in the gym, all fights. So I think this time is just good for my body to heal and just keep working on like my craft.
Have you? You go to the gym every day though. You're still keeping your schedule in terms of
Yeah.
all the normal days that you would go.
Yeah.
What in terms of, you said August? Have you been told August, or is that kind of like a hoping thing?
Oh, that's a hoping.
Okay.
I'm just hoping. I don't think. Well, obviously, if we fight, there's not going to be an audience, so like that really doesn't faze me. I'm just ready to get back in the ring, just keep building my record. Obviously, if I was fighting for a world title, I'd like an audience in the crowd. But yeah, I'm hoping for August.
If it is August, and well, actually, let me scoot back. I know you had a couple fights in Vegas, which you had some people out for you, but your other few fights, you've had a lot of people out there fighting in front of nobody. Have you thought about what that might be like?
I really haven't because it's even just like a different setting, probably in like a little studio. I heard that's what they've been talking about. So, like even the setting not being in an arena, no fans, just I never really thought about it, but I just think I've been doing this for so long that having no fans in the stands really won't affect my performance.
Where do you expect to be, end of the year, begin? How many fights conceivably with everything going on? And I'm going to ask you, actually, before that, I'll ask that. I would imagine when fights start to get announced, people may only have 2, 3, 4 weeks notice. Is that something that you're going to be prepared to do if, they in a few weeks, they say we're opening up on this date? You have this spot if you want it. Are you going to be available for any call?
Yeah, that's the reason why I'm staying in the gym, just because you really don't know when that call is gonna be, but like you want to just be ready for when it does come. So like at any time, TBC could call my manager, call us, and just say, look, we have this date, take it or leave it, and I'm gonna take the date because I'm ready. So I'm just staying ready so I don't have to get ready.
Is that what you feel might happen? Is that there probably will be some quick notice or quicker than you would normally like fights?
I think so, and I think it probably won't benefit in a lot of guys' favors. But for me, I feel like it really won't affect it because I've been in the gym since all the quarantine has started.
Mm.
Like it might not be the same, because not like with my whole team. It might just be some alone training, some just one-on-one. But still, yeah, I'm still getting my work.
I know you fought on the Wilder Ortiz fight, but then you took a nice opportunity to fight on the Wilder Fury card. I was with you a lot that week. What was that like for you, being around all the the craziness, the big crowds that came from all over the place? And when you were walking around a little bit, you get noticed by a lot of people.
Yeah, I'd say the two, like, I think the craziest thing for me was obviously the fight and the weigh-in, because like I've never really been a part of a weigh-in that had that many people. So like when I'm growing up, I always saw Floyd Mayweather with those kind of weigh-ins. Obviously, his might have been more packed, but like just a screaming crowd at a weigh-in like that was just different, and it was just something that like I've watched growing up, and like when actually living in it, it was cool. So it was like a great experience. Um, Another one is I was in the hallway. I was just walking in the lobby, and Sean Porter, he saw me and he came up to me. He was just like, "Keep doing your thing. You've been doing great. Just keep grinding, keep working hard." So like just seeing guys like him noticing me already, it's cool.
How much did that week inspire you, motivate you to, want to be fighting further and further up a card like that and eventually be the main guy on a card like that? I mean, did you like kind of daydream a little bit, say, that's gonna be my picture on the big and the big posters behind the weigh-in, and one day did you kind of take it all in like that?
Yeah, so I mean, obviously, it was sick the amount of like promo that fight got. Like, you walk through the MGM Grand, all over signs, Wilder Fury 2, Wilder Fury 2 on poles, on even on the escalators. Like you're walking up and it's just on like the little wall on that. So I'm like, damn, like one day like that's gonna be me. Like my face is gonna be all over everywhere.
And since he'll never retire, maybe he'll say Mielnicki Pacquiao won or something like that.
Yeah.
Well,
Yeah, what do you think that's gonna happen?
well, he was supposed to retire about 7 times. So by the time you get there, say 3 years, he'll be 44, 45. You still won't be allowed to drink. So that'd be interesting. But I mean, you're in the welterweight division now, and you're 18 years old next week. So
Yeah.
happy birthday beforehand. Um, where do you expect to be in maybe two? I mean, how long do you think it's going to take maybe to get to the TV level, co-feature, something like that?
Yeah. I don't really. I mean, hopefully I fight soon, so like I just keep building my record. But um, it all depends really. Like I just think right now is like the biggest time that'll show like when I'm gonna fight, like when that time would be, because like with all this going on, I feel like I could have been 10-0 by beginning of next year. Like so, like now that this happened, I think I was supposed to fight in May. So now that this happened, who knows? So I mean, I'm just gonna keep moving. Obviously, I'm in the early stages of my career. I could still fight frequently. So I know Al's gonna keep moving me right, and my team will just keep guiding me the right way.
Do you follow not only the prospects in your weight division, but other fighters who are younger type fighters to maybe to compare whether they're in your division or not, compare to see how they're being moved and everything?
Uh, I really don't really compare myself like with other fighters, but I mean I think I'm being moved probably one of the best right now, like coming up, just because of the platform that Al's been putting me on.
Tremendous exposure, yeah.
Yeah, like all of my fights really have been on some kind of platform of TV, YouTube, something like that, where people could watch me. I fought on FS1 2 times. I was on 2 pay-per-view cards 2 times. I fought at the MGM Grand 2 times. Some guys don't never fight at the MGM Grand one
Yeah.
time in their career. So, yeah, I mean, I think I'm probably being moved the best out of like a lot of prospects right now.
What do you want to say in closing out there before we make you go back and do your homework? Because if you don't, I'm calling your dad and say you're not doing your homework tonight.
Just keep following my career. Follow me on Instagram at Vito Mielnicki. Follow me on Twitter at Vito Mielnicki Jr. Follow me now on TikTok at Vito Mielnicki.
You're not doing those dances, are you?
I don't do the dances. I might do some dances during my drafts though.
Oh,
So I don't post them. Another thing, don't get your merch at whitemagicmerch.com.
Oh, okay. I didn't know about that. In fact, your dad owes me 5 T-shirts. I mean, it's some every. I got a shirt for you. I got a shirt for you. Got one in the room. Never shows up.
Yeah.
So, all right, Vito, we'll get back to work, and gotta get gotta keep that grade point average up. I know you're gonna be the welterweight champion, whatever, but still gotta get your work done.
Thank you, Mark.
Have a good night, and we'll talk to you soon, and hopefully the next